At exactly 7:30 on a rainy Monday morning, Ethan Carter's life changed forever. He wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't famous. He was a 32-year-old logistics manager whose biggest concern that morning was whether his aging sedan would survive another trip to work. His phone buzzed. He ignored it, assuming it was his paycheck. A second notification followed. Current balance, $1 trillion. Ethan laughed. $1 trillion. Nice bug. He refreshed the banking app. The number remained. He logged into the website on his laptop. Still there. Then another message appeared, not from the bank, but from an unknown sender. Congratulations. The money legally belongs to you. You have exactly 7 days to spend every dollar. You may only purchase real goods, real property, or legitimate services. No donations. No gifts. No gambling. No financial investments. Every purchase must transfer legal ownership. Any remaining balance at midnight on day 7 disappears forever. Good luck. Before Ethan could even stand, his doorbell rang. Outside stood a woman wearing a charcoal gray suit. "My name is Victoria Hale," she said. "I'm your financial coordinator." "You know about this?" "I know everything about it." She handed him a sleek tablet. "This contains your schedule. Every minute matters." The first day felt like a dream. Private islands. Luxury apartments. Historic castles. Entire ranches. Collectors offered priceless paintings before Ethan even asked. Every phone call ended with the same sentence. "Yes, Mr. Carter, the paperwork is already being prepared." Money moved faster than imagination. By sunset, he owned skyscrapers in 3 countries, vineyards across Europe, a fleet of luxury yachts, and more homes than he could ever visit. He had spent $43 billion. Victoria smiled politely. "You have $957 billion remaining." Ethan nearly fainted. Day 2 began with a different strategy. "If houses aren't enough," Ethan said, "buy industries. Factories. Shipping companies. Mining operations. Timber lands. Commercial farms. Warehouses." Every acquisition required teams of lawyers working around the clock. Yet the money barely moved. Every time another billion disappeared, interest quietly replaced part of it. "It's impossible," Ethan muttered. Victoria nodded. Most people underestimate how large $1 trillion truly is. News spread quickly. Financial channels called him the mystery buyer ***. No one knew where the money came from. Markets became unstable. Prices climbed. Luxury goods vanished from inventory. Auction houses postponed events because Ethan bought entire collections before bidding even began. Governments began asking questions. Banks froze meetings to discuss him. Economists argued live on television. One individual cannot absorb this much wealth without consequences. On day 3, Ethan changed tactics again. "What does civilization actually run on?" Victoria answered without hesitation. "Energy." Within hours, he was purchasing solar farms, wind parks, geothermal facilities, hydroelectric plants, and independent power companies across multiple continents. The transactions triggered regulatory reviews. Government approvals slowed everything. Time slipped away. By evening, he had spent another $70 billion. Still nowhere close. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He walked through one of his newly purchased penthouses, overlooking Manhattan. The city glittered beneath him. Thousands of lights. Millions of lives. Yet he had never felt more alone. "What happens if I fail?" he asked. Victoria stared out the window. "No one has ever succeeded." "What?" She didn't answer. Day 4 brought desperation. Ethan bought aircraft manufacturers. Cargo fleets. Luxury hotels. Entire shopping malls, sports arenas, film studios, music catalogs, rare manuscripts. Museums offered private sales. Collectors emerged from hiding. The world had become one enormous marketplace. Still, $800 billion remained. The internet exploded. Some believed Ethan had discovered alien technology. Others insisted governments secretly backed him. Conspiracy theories multiplied hourly. The stock market swung wildly whenever rumors appeared that Ethan intended to purchase another corporation. Every move created new headlines. Ironically, rising prices made spending harder. The more he bought, the more expensive everything became. Day 5. Victoria arrived looking concerned for the first time. Regulators have coordinated internationally. What does that mean? They're slowing approvals. Can they do that? They already have. Purchasing major infrastructure now required weeks. Cross-border transactions stalled. Antitrust investigations appeared overnight. Governments feared one private citizen, accumulating unprecedented influence. Ethan slammed his fist onto the conference table. I'm trying to spend money, not rule the world. It no longer matters. That afternoon, Ethan visited one of the largest ports on Earth. Thousands of cargo containers stretched toward the horizon. An idea struck him. What if I buy the goods before they leave? Electronics, machinery, steel, medical equipment, construction materials. Millions of products changed ownership instantly. Then reality arrived. Storage, transportation, insurance, documentation. Owning goods created responsibilities far faster than spending solved problems. Late that night, Ethan stared at the countdown. 48 hours remaining. Balance: $412,983,772,644. His stomach tightened. Day 6 became chaos. Hundreds of lawyers, thousands of accountants, dozens of governments. Every screen displayed flashing numbers. Every signature represented another billion. Victoria barely stopped speaking. Singapore approved. Brazil delayed. Canada rejected. Japan requires additional review. Australia needs environmental clearance. The clock refused to slow. Exhausted, Ethan finally asked the question that had haunted him. Who created this challenge? Victoria hesitated. You wouldn't believe me. Try. She looked directly into his eyes. The custodians. Who are they? They're older than nations. They choose someone every generation. Why? To answer one question. What question? She smiled sadly. Can unlimited wealth solve human problems? Day 7. The final morning. Balance: $196 billion. The world watched live. News helicopters circled buildings he owned. Markets prepared for another historic day. Instead, Ethan closed every acquisition. He dismissed every lawyer, every broker, every advisor, even Victoria. You quit, she asked. No. What are you doing? I finally understand. She folded her arms. I'm listening. Ethan walked into an empty conference room. He looked at the countdown. 8 hours remained. He laughed. Not because he was happy. Because he finally saw the trap. The challenge had never been about spending. It had been about scarcity. There simply weren't enough things on Earth that could legally change hands fast enough. Civilization itself wasn't designed for infinite purchasing power. Money eventually stopped representing value. It became larger than the economy it existed inside. Victoria returned one final time. The custodians expected this answer. They already knew. They suspected. What happens now? The remaining money disappears. And everything I bought. You keep. Ethan looked confused. So I still become the richest man alive. Victoria shook her head. The purchases remain. The balance does not. Midnight arrived. The countdown reached 0. The remaining hundreds of billions vanished without sound. No explosion. No warning. Just gone. Ethan waited for disappointment. Instead, he felt relief. For 7 days, he'd believed money could conquer every obstacle. Instead, he had discovered something profound. Ownership was easy. Responsibility was not. Buying assets was easy. Managing them required people. Money could purchase buildings. It couldn't purchase trust. It could acquire farmland. It couldn't guarantee peace. It could own hospitals. It couldn't manufacture healthy societies overnight. There were limits that wealth alone could never overcome. The following morning, Victoria appeared one last time. The custodians have reached their conclusion. And they were right. About what? She smiled. There is no such thing as unlimited buying power. She handed Ethan a simple envelope. Inside was a single sentence. The greatest fortunes are measured not by what they can buy, but by what they cannot. When Ethan looked up, Victoria was gone. No limousine. No security team. No footprints. Only silence. Months later, analysts continued studying the mysterious week that shook global finance. Historians called it the 7-day shock asterisk. Governments rewrote regulations. Markets introduced emergency safeguards. Universities taught entire courses about the event. As for Ethan, he spent years restructuring the businesses, properties, and infrastructure he had acquired. He sold many responsibly over time, reinvested in operating them efficiently, and discovered that leading thousands of employees demanded more wisdom than purchasing thousands of assets. People often asked him what it felt like to hold $1 trillion. He always gave the same answer. It wasn't the money that changed me. It was learning that some problems grow faster than wealth. Then he'd smile, look toward the horizon, and quietly add, "And that's the most valuable lesson I never had to pay for."